So the Cloverfield Paradox, whatever it's called, is a great comedy set in the Cloverfield universe. The story is about this... the world is like run out. It's just the story of that video game Dead Space, pretty much. Like the world is run out of resources, but there's one crew that can go into space, and if they succeed in their mission, they'll have infinite energy and everything will be awesome. But things go wrong along the way, and the other dimensions are involved, and things quickly devolve into nonsense.
Let's just say I think the first two are very good.
I like well, I haven't seen the first one in a long time, but whatever the other one was called.
Cloverfield Lane.
I like that one up until the last 10 minutes.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're fucking aware of this, but the last 10 minutes were not in the original script. There was an entire fucking movie that was made, or sorry, not made. There's an entire script that was written, an entire concept, and it was just supposed to be called like The Cellar or something. Like nothing to do with Cloverfield. JJ Abrams picked it up, was like, "Hey, you wanna be successful in Hollywood, right, kid? Well, no one's going to give you any fucking money except me. And the only way I'm going to do that is if your movie's shit now. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to shit all over it, and then you can have your movie. JJ. You want to make it in Hollywood, don't you, kid?" That's how I imagine the conversation went anyway. I think he talks like that.
I like the idea of
when
using
the cameras are off.
Cloverfield as the springboard for like science fiction stories and cinema.
But
like...
That's what I thought it was supposed to be.
I really fucking don't.
Because 10 Cloverfield Lane has nothing to do with Cloverfield, aside from
it literally
the fact
does not.
Aliens in it.
So they literally just...
It's not even the monster from the first Cloverfield.
No, it's
but
not.
Then this one acts as if both of them exist in the same universe, and I'm like, what the fuck?
The 10 Cloverfield Lane, they added in that Slusho shot at the gas station or whatever. It's like they just threw that in there. It's like, oh, Slusho, remember that brand from the first Cloverfield? And then... at the end, just the car driving away and hits the fucking mailbox and it says 10 Cloverfield Lane on it. It's like, okay, those are the only things that connected. And then like the monsters, they could have been monsters from another movie, even with that 10 minutes in the end of the movie. Like that really, that still didn't really have anything to do with the first Cloverfield.
Yeah, it didn't. No,
it really didn't. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it pissed me off because there is so much fucking substance to the movie without it having anything to do with Cloverfield that I wish I just saw the real movie, you know?
Me too. I mean, the advantage is, though, you can kind of just shut off the movie before the last 10 minutes, and you got a really good movie.
Yeah.
That's not an advantage this new one has, because the whole movie is fucking terrible. You can't cut out anything.
This is true.
Can we just start with the opening scene and how it felt like they shot the whole movie, and then they were like, we need a scene...
That's the kind of scene you have an hour in to a movie, 30 minutes in, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
The first shot of this movie is like a handheld outside of the car, and it's just some woman walks into a car. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And the color grading is so bad, and the scene itself, the dialogue is like, just regurgitating exposition. And then you go to outer space, and you're like, what the fuck is this now? It's like a different movie.
If you've ever seen a sci-fi trope ever, it's in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Every single fucking sci-fi movie trope, all the way up to the, oh, I gotta do this by myself. The computer needs a person to manually blah, blah, blah. I guess I gotta sacrifice myself. You go that way. And then she said something like, no, I can actually do it remotely. He's like, no, don't worry about, like, they just brushed it off. Like,
go off without.
That's every single fucking trope and cliche that's ever existed in a space horror film is in this movie. It's the most watered down and derivative and uninspired a science fiction film could possibly be. And they decided this would work great for the Cloverfield universe.
That's the best part.
Oh, yeah. You know what, though? In a way, it was a smart business decision because you have this property, and the original title of the film was supposed to be The God Particle. Think about it.
Yeah.
No one would have fucking seen this movie unless it said Cloverfield. They, like, literally nobody would have fucking seen it, and all of a sudden you just attach Cloverfield on the front of it. Just like, this is the Cloverfield universe. We'll have some answered questions, guys. I'm JJ Abrams. I've made a career off of blue balling people. Fuck off.
Well, I don't even know about that, because this movie's so bad that they saw it and went, no one's going to see this in a theater, so let's fucking sell it to Netflix and just throw it on a Monday.
Literally.
And just have people watch it that way. That's how bad it was.
You know,
I don't even understand how they sold it, because what science fiction concept is in this movie that, like, a producer went, wow, that's really interesting. we have to make this movie. Because there's nothing. There's nothing original or intense or creative about a single thing in this movie.
The Cloverfield films have some of the most interesting marketing I've ever seen. And all the way up from the original, I don't know if you guys were... I don't know how old you guys were when the original came out. But I was
like 12.
Okay.
I loved the marketing.
I
was totally on board
when
for the marketing.
Oh, dude, I was so fucking obsessed with the whole mystery behind the first film. There was this huge discussion online of people debating what people were saying in the trailer, and somebody said, it's alive, it's huge. And there were actually people that were like, no, he said it's a lion, it's huge. The monster's a big lion, I know. Like, so people, there is this whole online discussion over like what the monster would be. So, you know, not showing the monster, not even technically making it obvious that there was a monster at all. When I first watched the trailer, I thought like, oh, like, you know, meteors or something, like, I don't know, like it's an end of the world scenario for sure, but it could have just been like a Roland Emmerich natural disaster kind of thing. I don't know. As soon as the trailers ended and it was quiet, like right before the opening title, some guy was like, it's a giant snake. like just as though they were like calling what the movie was supposed to, or what the monster was supposed to be. It was so funny. And I mean, like, ultimately, the movie is fine. It's good. It's not.
I mean, really love it.
I loved it a lot more when I was younger than I do now. There's parts of it that like kind of piss me off and are annoying at this point as I'm older. Oh, yeah. But it's still, you know, a passable, fun, exhilarating found footage film. 10 Cloverfield Lane was great. The last 10 minutes sucked, but this film is just like this is garbage. This is fucking garbage.
It really is.
Can we talk about the final shot of the film?
Oh yeah,
that's the best part.
We can talk about everything.
I rewinded it because I was like, did I just see what I just saw? I was just so dumbfounded by what I'd seen. Like it just came out of nowhere, and it's like, what is that a reveal? Is that supposed to be like a surprise? We saw it earlier, like it meant nothing, and then the film ends, and it's like, what does that mean? You've just opened a whole other avenue of storytelling with this what happened just here, and you end it there.
You know,
what are you doing?
And it's not even like, oh, what's going to happen now? It's like a, so what? So what that happened? How is that going to impact anything? What is that? Why do I give a shit?
Great. So everything meant nothing then. Okay. So, great.
Basically, can we talk about the visual effects that look like they're from 2002?
Yes, we can. Although
I swear to God, some of them are 480p. They were like blurry. I'm like, what the fuck?
They did look really bad.
It didn't.
The Cloverfield monster at the end looked like it had no bones in it. It just looked like flesh. It was so bad.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't an improvement from like the 2008 film.
So the Cloverfield monster in this movie, is it the same one as the original?
It doesn't look
that made
like
no sense to me
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look the same.
No, it is.
Like, how fucking tall is it?
The design was, I think
that's the
taller.
thing. They got the proportion all wrong, and apparently this movie's supposed to take place at the same time, right? Which is 2008.
There's no fucking way.
And we didn't have spaceships in 2008.
The marketing for this film is brutally fucking dishonest in terms like,
of course.
I didn't even see the Super Bowl ad until after I watched the movie, and I just watched it. I'm like, you fucking assholes.
Totally missold it. There was the part in the trailer where they show the explosion from the original Cloverfield.
Oh yeah.
And then they cut to the character reacting to a completely different explosion in the Cloverfield, the new one, and they act as if it's the same explosion when it isn't.
That's fucking
That was
bullshit.
like Russians attacking, right? Or some shit like that. I don't even remember. This movie's so bad. My brain's trying to get rid of it.
JJ fucking Abrams has made his entire career off of being a dishonest piece of shit and marketing films and TV shows that are meant only to blue ball people and pretend to give answers when they don't actually fucking do. And he's
well, that's why they brought up the parallel universe thing.
That's what he fucking does.
That's the epitome. The parallel universe thing is the epitome of just giving up. It's like time travel. Like, oh, we don't know what to do, so that took place in a parallel universe where they time traveled back to fucking fix this.
Are you guys like old enough to remember all the fucking hype around Lost?
Yeah.
Yep.
I do.
Yeah. Remember
Never
all that
watched
shit?
it, but
I refuse to watch it because I have very good accounts from people who have watched it about how pissed off they are, about how nothing gets explained and how nothing makes any fucking sense. And this
I saw the entire show.
this entire promise from the marketing of the show of saying like, you want to figure out what the fuck is happening, right? Oh, you never will. Sorry. Haha, gotcha. Like, that's his whole fucking thing with Cloverfield now. He's literally just...
That's this thing with everything.
He's scooping up
mystery
films
box theory.
that have nothing to do with Cloverfield at all and pretending as though it's going to explain the fucking universe better. Dude, this entire movie was made before it was even related to Cloverfield. Like, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, and you can tell.
You piece of shit. What a turd.
It's such a bad way to write, you know, like
It's
media.
dishonest. It's insanely dishonest. It pisses me off.
To make a whole movie and then just to keep adding on to it, all this bullshit.
Yeah.
And then act as if, oh, now we're going to explain everything.
Oh, yeah.
I have the answers. So he doesn't even fucking know.
Dude,
no one knows.
You know,
The truth is, 10 years ago, he made a fucking movie, and it was pretty good. He wanted to make an American Godzilla movie. And now he acts as if he has a whole plan. Oh, I have a whole universe planned out. You don't have shit.
Yeah. This would all be fine and dandy, like the exact same approach and connected film universe sort of thing, even if it was still hung together by a thread, as long as it didn't contradict the other films, and more importantly, if they were all good. You know, like this film, shit to begin with. 10 Cloverfield Lane, somehow even more upsetting because it was a great film that you raped and shat on. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Absolutely.
You're making things worse by your approach to how you're doing these films. And it just pisses me off. That you would take an awesome script that didn't need you to shit on it, and then just shit on it and be like, haha, it's Cloverfield now. And then B, take a film that nobody should have fucking watched, that didn't need to be made, that didn't need to be distributed and shared with the masses, and then lie to people.
Straight to VHS dog shit.
Fucking lie to people and pretend like it explains the universe of these other films that people actually like, just so you can make some fucking money. You're lying to people. Fuck.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
You got to bank on JJ Abrams approaching you and saying, "Hey, you see that film you're making? Imagine Cloverfield in the title. You put a monster in there, mate.
What would I call it?
King Candy Field.
Yeah.
Cloverfield, because the film is called Lover.
Yeah,
so they would just take Cloverfield and highlight Lover in it. I have a friend who knows JJ and talked to him on the phone.
Really?
And JJ's just, he gave him some life advice and some filmmaking advice.
If I got a phone call from somebody just saying, like, you're not crazy, this is me, turn off your electricity because it's bad, don't steal it, and also hug your family. Like, I mean, you gotta be a bit more fucking persuasive, unless she knows herself so well that she knows she's a fucking idiot who will believe anything she hears on the phone. Because that's also a likely possibility.
I just don't understand, how can you write something this contrived and terrible and not have someone along the line, along the due process, read it and say, none of this makes any sense. We're not going forward with this. We're shutting this down because this is so stupid.
I would almost expect that from a production. If let's say JJ and Bad Robot and, you know, all these quote unquote professionals were involved on the project from day one, you would expect that. But it seems like the whole movie was made and then they just added a couple extra shots and lines to make it something that they could sell as a Cloverfield film.
Yeah.
JJ,
like, at least Cloverfield Lane was a good product that they got loads of eyes on through adding the shitty bit at the end.
I'm not even fucking kidding. As soon as the movie was over, I had this this imagination of just JJ Abrams looking online and seeing the shitty reviews and how people think the new Cloverfield Paradox film is shit. And I just imagined him like on a sunny like resort golf course somewhere, taking a sip of some alcoholic beverage with his legs crossed and just thinking like, looking on his phone and just like being like, ha, whatever, and like smirking to himself like, I'm not going to care about that because I've made money. I literally just had that vision in my head as soon as I finished the film. I'm like, this is what he's probably doing right now.
I mean, he won. He sold it to Netflix, they paid him, and that was the end of it. And the rest of it's kind of irrelevant, and we'll all forget about it. it's so dumb. You start thinking like, am I not paying attention enough? Because these characters are doing things that I don't even understand why they're doing them.
You know what? I'm actually really glad this was a Netflix release because I had to rewind a couple times to figure out what the fuck they were trying to say here. I
know!
I've literally rewound the film like at least 3 times. Like, wait, what? Can we talk about how literally 0 scientists and astronauts ever would ever suggest trying to warp backwards through quantum entanglement? Like, so, I'm sorry, you're in this universe right now. You have this payload or this fucking infinite energy thing, and you could bring it to this Earth or whatever. You've got somebody who's from this Earth that can explain the ins and outs of whatever's the fuck's going on anyway. They all decided pretty fucking unanimously, like, yeah, if we just do the same thing backwards, we'll wind up back at the same place. I'm sorry. You seem to have a pretty fucking firm grasp on quantum entanglement, despite the fact that you even being here was a complete fucking mistake. That warped a girl.
So dumb.
It warped a girl into the fucking wires of your ship. You don't think that could be a potential risk of happening again? You don't want to fucking maybe take some precautions? You don't want to have like a talk about how that's the stupidest fucking idea ever and no one would ever do that?
It's taking all the bad stuff from all these movies.
It's just not doing it well. Thing. I mean, you can
like let's take everything from Prometheus that was bad and take none of the good stuff. Let's take the dumb characters, but we won't take any of the good stuff in it.
Alex, do you have anything to add to that?
It's not even like a film. It's just nothing. It's just scenes that are like, oh, that's a bit from Alien. Oh, that's a bit from Event Horizon. Oh, there's the Cloverfield monster for a minute. The end. It's just fucking pointless. There's nothing about it of worth. It's utterly just meaningless. The characters, like, this film has nothing to say. What is the purpose of this film existing, aside from it being a product, like a fucking Transformers film? It is nothing.
There's enough within the original Cloverfield that's left up to interpretation intentionally that there'll be enough of an online discussion or debate to be had that will continue making the film relevant. And JJ Abrams is a piece of shit for letting that happen because there are no real answers. They contradict themselves, and it's literally just a marketing scheme. Explaining it after the fact usually turns out like shit.
Otherwise, that's exactly what Cloverfield is.
Trying to explain where the alien came from, but it's on that level.
Yeah. Oh no!
And they don't even
that was
know.
Pretty bad. That was a kind of that was kind of a lame explanation, kind of a lame origin story.
It reminded me of that.
Oh god.
1 out of 10. 1 out of 10, Alex.
I don't rate things out of 10. Just don't watch it. It sucks. It's pointless.
We're supposed to believe that they're like scientists and astronauts and shit, but they all just look like young, dumb, fucking pretty actors. Like there's nothing about them where I can believe that they're their characters. They're just fucking actors.
We keep describing them using the word character, but that's an insult to the word character and what it means, because like the way these I did it myself. The way these things are written,
they're technically characters.
Yeah, they're technically characters, but they're just a motivation. All of them, it's like a first draft of a first draft. They wrote, this character has this motivation, needs to do this, then die. Like for every character, and like they didn't elaborate on that in any way. So that's all it is. Like it's so pointless. There's nothing to it.
They don't exist to be characters that you can find believable or relatable. They literally exist to be plot devices so that the film can get from point A to point B. That kind of thing, which is so incredibly common, that just makes me think to the writers or director, like, have you lost the fucking plot? Why are you making the movie? Are you making a movie so it can get from this shitty plot point to this shitty plot point? Like, why not make a movie to make something that people enjoy, that they can relate to, that can change their mind about something or open them to a new experience or impress them, or why even fucking make a movie?
It sounded like they recorded the score on GarageBand. Really. It was so bad.
It was a bad score. I wouldn't be surprised. Have you guys seen Evil Dead 2? You know how Bruce Campbell's arm gets possessed and it's presented as a gag in that film?
Oh yeah.
You know how they did that in this film and it was not presented as a gag?
Uh-huh. They did it like it was a serious, dramatic thing.
So I'm sorry.
You're supposed to be horrified.
How do people so quickly come to the conclusion, looking at a hand that's writhing around on the ground, how did they come to the conclusion so quickly? It's trying to write something. Who would say that? I think it's trying to write something. Let's give it a pen. What? It made no fucking sense.